Oh my God! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Hi, it's Craig. It's Fludded. Welcome back. Massive team here. Very excited. Got about 25 people on the cameras. A very diverse team of people. I swap it over a lot. I've got to, in a month, I've got to get every country in there. I've got 4 people on the lights. The script is written by a team of 26, I think, people wrote the script for this. All the presenting, the producing, the directing is all done by me, just one person. So it's not a very diverse team there. And the reason I'm talking about diversity is because the BBC have employed somebody who they should sack. And the name of the person, and I do apologise, it's a name I'm not very good at pronouncing, Nihal Arthanayake. I think his name. He's a BBC Radio 5 live presenter. And he's complaining because there's too many white people at the BBC and it's giving him a headache. He can't cope. He doesn't like it. He's not happy. Here he is. BBC presenter says overwhelmingly a white workplace affects his mental health. Well, first of all, before we get into that, why is it that everybody seems to be these days incapable of managing themselves? Why can't people manage how they feel? Why are we all so emotional all the time and over-expressive? And we're either elated by the banalest of things happening in our lives, or we're devastated by them. It's the bizarrest thing. It's like, oh, I bought you a cake while I was out at lunch. Oh my God, did you? Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm really sorry. I lost your biro. I borrowed it while you were out at lunch, and now I've lost it. And now you've come back. I don't know where your biro is. Can't cope. It's so bizarre, and it's so real, and it's so happening. So dear old Nihal is struggling because he is about the same age as me. His parents are from Malaysia, I think. Not that that's relevant to anything. He's a Brit, as far as I'm concerned. Born and bred in Britain. Proud British man! And he was speaking at a journalism and diversity conference. Now, what do you think a journalism diversity conference wants to hear about? They want to hear about, tell us stories about racism that you've encountered in journalism. And it's like, oh, well, here we go. One of the stories is this one, by the way. Reports a man for racially aggravated offence outside a pub. And I was reading this story, and it goes, BBC presenter said Greater Manchester police officers looking to report for racial aggravated public order offence. A 51-year-old who hosts a Radio 5 live show said he was outside a pub at the weekend, and a man approached him and used a 4-letter slur referring to people of Pakistani origin and the N-word. Right, so let's find out. Well, we'll tell us what happened. He said, so last night this happened to me and I'm still trying to process the weirdness of it. Warning that there is bad language. In a video below the tweet, the presenter said, I don't really know what just happened. I was in a place called Altrincham and I was outside this pub, which I've been in with my wife, dancing around. It was fun. I saw this man sitting outside and I was waiting for my wife to come out. So I said, can I come and sit with you? Can we talk? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. He was a little kind of drunk man, whatever that means. First of all, when I read that, it's like, who says to somebody, do you mind if I sit with you? Can we talk? Who says that? That would terrify me. Like, no, you can go away and not talk to me. Thank you. Leave. So we got talking and he said, oh, you're a doctor. And I said laughing because it's a question, as an Asian, you might get asked a lot. And I went, well, why would you ask that? So innocent, isn't he? So innocent. And he's fishing around like mad to establish if this guy's racist or not. This guy sounds quite old to me. He sounds like he might be in his 60s or 70s. And yeah, guess what? Those people... in those, you get to a certain age and you ain't changing. You get, like maybe in your 40s, you're kind of like whoever you are in your head or your being, you're pretty much going to stick to it. So if he's in his 60s, 70s, he's from a time around about the 50s. He's from like, if it's the 60s, he's from the 60s. He's 70s, he's from the 50s. So what was Britain like then? Let's have a look, shall we? 1951, 99.9% of people in the UK were white. The blue is white people. And then look, 82%, 2011 changes. Things are changing. That man isn't changing. As we were changing, the country was changing. He wasn't, right? So he's probably still stuck in his head to how things were when he was like in his 20s or 30s. So keep this pie chart in mind. This is the United Kingdom one here. This is England here. Wales and Scotland down below. You can see which area of the country became more diverse. Scotland, not very. Look. Wales, not. It's interesting looking at actual facts. But bear this in mind, because it says 1981. I can't pause it, unfortunately. Is it still going to move? No. What is? I can make it large. Notice that when it gets to I think it's does it say 1951? Think about 1970s. 1970s is when we had Monty Python. 97.5% in 1971. 97.5% of people in the UK were white, right? So this guy was on this show, and let's have a bit of a listen to what he says here.
What he's saying is that in this day and age, you couldn't have Monty Python now because the head of BBC Comedy, Shane Allen, has said 6 white Oxbridge blokes would never get their own sketch show. So then he goes...
Right, 6 Oxbridge blokes are Monty Python. He's referring to Monty Python. And Monty Python, I think, came out of the Footlights in Cambridge? I think that's what that was. As did a lot of comedy stuff like Rowan Atkinson, Fry and Laurie and all those guys. Footlights, Webb and not Teller, Webb and Mitchell and Webb. I think, don't quote me on that. My point is that in the 70s, most of the people at Footlights would have been white. Sorry, that's how it was. So yeah, guess what? That's what came out of there. Now, Footlights today, most of them aren't white. Or certainly, there's certainly a representation of people of colour there now. Because people of colour now live in the UK. It's changed. It's not static. So making the point that, they wouldn't get away with that today, it's like, well, yeah, because today that wouldn't be what's coming out of Footlights. It's annoyingly simple, this, and I just don't understand how he's pretending. He's imagining racism. And this is the point he's about to make for me.
Never get their own sketch show. So then he goes on to say, I'm tired of being as a white male blamed for everything that's wrong in the world. So now I want you to call me Loretta. I'm a black lesbian in transition. He goes on to say, this reminds me of a very good phrase, which is this. If privilege is your normal, then equality feels like oppression.
Right, I'm going to pause it there. So if privilege is your... What did he say? Hold on. I forgot what he said.
Feels like oppression. Privilege is your normal, then equality feels like...
If privilege is your normal, equality feels like oppression. Right. He's talking about equality. He's talking about imagining oppression. You're imagining that that you are oppressed. This guy imagines that he is oppressed. He imagines that he's living in an oppressive society, because what happens is he goes looking for it. He will sit down next to a guy who will say to him, are you a doctor? And he will go, oh, racism alarm bells go off in his head like insane. And the guy who's asking him doesn't know any better and doesn't mean any harm. He's trying to have a conversation with you and connect with you the best he can. And he's made an assumption about you, yeah. But if he met me as a Scottish bloke, he'd probably think I'm a miser or something. Or a drug addict, I don't know, whatever stereotypes exist of Scottish people. Guess what? There are people who are fat, there are people who are Scottish, people who are Irish, red hair, skinny, good-looking women, ugly women, all sorts of different types of people in the world. And all of them will get picked on by somebody because of their differences. People will use each other's differences as a tool to attack. That's just what happens. If you are of really good build and somebody who's made you or tried to undermine you or whatever, you might attack them because they're overweight. And that's a vulnerability that person has. That it's the chink in their armor. So that's what people do. Now, it sounds like this guy is going out and having conversations with people and deliberately fishing in the same way he's going to these conferences about racism, and he's fishing for stories. He's fishing for it. He's looking for it. And he's saying that it's out there. And you'll meet, this thing of you meet one person on the tube and they do something that's a bit racist. Why would a racist guy want him to go and sit down next to him? It's it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's like, it's not when we hear racism, we think of the KKK and dragging people behind cars and burning tires and then hanging them from trees and lynchings and things like that sort of racism. But he's talking about racism of an old drunk guy sat in the street calling him a doctor. And, that's as bad as it was in the KKK days. No, it isn't. And stop it. Stop this race-baiting nonsense. Stop describing all your BBC colleagues as racist just because of the colour of his skin. Stop going into work and just seeing skin colour everywhere. It's racist. It's not like we know you don't hate them. You don't hate your colleagues, but you're going on TV shows and you're going into articles and you're going to conferences about race and you're going on and on and on about it, and you're not letting it. It's never going to go away as long as you perpetuate like that. You're like flaming the fires of it all the time, constantly telling white people that they're racist, and the BBC should sack you for it because it's race baiting. And it's really bad, and you should know better because you're a decent enough, intelligent guy. And why you're deciding to just stereotype all white people the way you do. And you know what? There was a time when I used to think, you can't be racist against white people because they don't experience oppression. Yeah, they bloody do now. Yeah, they do, completely. Do you think the BBC wants to employ me? A chunky, old, white, straight guy? No, they don't want me. Nobody wants to employ me anymore. Am I oppressed if that's the case? Or do you think that's not the case? Do you think I'm privileged? That I'm definitely going to be exactly the sort of person that Channel 4 and BBC want? It's insane. I'm massively experienced. I'm going to save them money on time and energy. I'm going to create better results for them through my experience. I'm going to be, I'm going to be a safe pair of hands. I'm sent out on shoots. They don't want me because of I'm white, I'm straight, I'm old, I'm a big chunky old bloke, and I wouldn't fit in anymore. And I'm probably got more experience than the producers, but I'm privileged. It's insane argument that we're hearing in television these days, and this inability for people to be responsible for their feelings. It's everybody else's how he feels is everybody else's responsibility. Nothing to do with him whatsoever. Is you are making him feel bad when he goes in, and you're not even saying anything. You're just existing. You're just having a condition called being white that you cannot do anything about. When somebody is looking at you in a disparaging way, or regarding you as inferior, or regarding you as a bad person because of something about yourself that you have no control over, that's kind of a prejudice. That's hate. And I think we're just all a bit fed up of it, aren't we? Anyway, this became a thing on Twitter. It became a little bit of a thing on Twitter. Now, have you heard of a guy called Constantly Kissin? Sorry, his name is Konstantin Kissin. Konstantin Kissin posted a meme. Now, I'm not a fan of memes. I think they're immature. But he posted this meme here, which is, here's our man. White people. No! White people's BBC license fees. Yes, please. All right, it's childish. I'm not a fan of Constantly Kissing. Nihal Arthanayake said, "What a loser old Konstantin is. Another talentless grifter." I think that Mr. Kissin has a lot of talent. He's brilliant at constructing his arguments, and he's a good thinker. I think pretty soon he'll start calling himself a philosopher. I think he's a bit of a grifter. I don't think he's deceptive in anything he does, and he tries to be very much a centrist on his show, on his YouTube channel. He blocked me because I called him a YouTuber. So ever since then, I've called him not my joke, but constantly kissing is what I call him now, and forever shall. But he posted this tweet. Sorry, here we go. He posted this tweet here. Looks like I've successfully triggered all the racist and talentless grifters again, like that Konstantin Kisin. Bye for now. He's just called Konstantin Kisin a racist. This is a BBC employee. And he's just gone on and published. Think of this as an article. Think of it being on the internet. So that's being published. And he's just called this guy a racist. Now, this chap here, Nihal. Let's have a look how many people are seeing his. He's got 500,000. Oh, he's gone up by 20,000 today. So he's getting a lot of followers. Oh, hold on, no, that's not his. Sorry, he's got 116,000 followers. So 116,000 people saw him to say this other guy is a racist. Now, this guy here, Constantly Kissing, I can't show you his profile because he's blocked me. But Constantly Kissing, that could damage his income to say something like that, to slander him that way, to say, it's like, why would anyone want to follow or be associated with a racist? And here's a BBC employee saying he is. So that has to be a letter from a lawyer and a retraction. And if I was boss of the BBC, that would definitely be a sacking. You're done, mate. Don't you go on the internet calling people like we hire that guy. The BBC hire Constantly Kissing and have him on their show as a pundit. He's pretty much well respected. All right, he was posting silly memes, and it's a cliched meme. It's not massively funny. He is a comedian. He's a YouTuber. But yeah, the BBC should definitely. And what do you think? Should the BBC sack Nihal for that? I think they should. And it makes me a little bit mad that they don't. The BBC has completely lost credibility. I don't know who's running that boat. We don't see him. We don't hear from him. It sounds like they're just all running wild. They're all, it's crazy. It's like that episode of Star Trek where everyone on the ship gets completely drunk and they all start killing each other and raping and stuff. That's what the halls of the BBC are like at the minute, because there was no boss. There's nobody putting their foot down and saying, "What? Oi, you don't go on the internet calling people like him a racist when you know he isn't. You know he isn't racist, so don't say he is. And because you've done years, you're suspended until the court case is over because he's going to sue you now. And also, we're sick and tired of your race baiting. It's constant. Don't you be calling all the people at the BBC racist. Don't you be having a pop at them just because they're white. Ain't standing for it. We need to get... Why is it every time the BBC tries to get people of colour and representation on its programmes, they end up with idiots like this? It's happening a lot. And you need to get these politicised people out. Get them out of here, as they'd say. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And please, by all means, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will find out when I upload some more videos. It's always a delight having you with me. Until later on, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye.